Okay, third grade, so we're going to continue to review for our story, Business is Looking Up, with Ronaldo and Jinx, because you guys have a test this week, a reading test and a vocabulary test. So I want to make sure that you have all the information necessary to do a great job on your test. First of all, I want to show you something fun you can do. Since this is from our open court story, this is a book that you guys are going to be doing. Starting this week, you will only be doing reading from the open court story. You will not be doing any more chapter books. So if you guys want to read chapter books on your own at home, please do that so you guys can still earn AR points. But we're not going to be doing any more chapter book reading, only open court reading. But I wanted to show you an idea of something fun that you guys can do, because I know you're doing a lot of worksheets and it would be fun to have something else to do. Since our story is all about cards, I thought you guys can get some paper from your house if you have some construction paper or some copy paper, any kind of paper that you have, and make a card for somebody today. Maybe you can make a card for somebody in your family, or maybe you can make a card for somebody that you want to mail out today, so ask your mom and dad. But I actually made my own card. I took Jinx and Ronaldo's idea. I didn't make a step card because I don't have any stepbrothers or sisters. But if you do, you can even do a step card, which would be cool because that's what the story was all about. But this is a thank you card, and I made this for Miss Kara, and I decorated the front. If you have stencils at home or glitter or some stickers, that would make it even more fun. And you can open it up and write a cute little message inside like I did, just saying thank you to Miss Kara for all of the things she's done for me for this week. You can draw pictures on it. I drew flowers, hearts, and you can give that to somebody. So that's something special that you guys can do because this story was all about cards, okay? So now what we're gonna do is review the story so that before the test, again, one more time, you guys can have some information about the story. We read the story on a live last week. Again, you really need to read the story with your family, and you need to read the story one more time to make sure you really understand it. But here's the paper I'm going to do with you guys today, and this is the summarizing chart. It's the very first page on your reading packet. Notice this says reading packet week 4. If you notice, your packet is much smaller because we're not doing all the reading comprehension sheets and all of that, but we still have these reading sheets here. So I wanted to go over this one with you. It is the who, what, where, when, why, and how of the story. Okay, so if you're following along, go ahead and get out that paper. So go ahead and get it right now. I'll wait for you while you go get it. If you don't have it, go get it. Okay, and now let's go over it together. The very first thing on this sheet says, who were the characters in the story? And we all know that there was 2 main characters. Their names were Jinx and Ronaldo. Remember, Jinx is the friend. Jinx was the girl, Ronaldo was the boy, and he was blind in the story, and he was actually doing and selling the cards so that he could get money for a calculator. So the who is Jinx and Ronaldo. Now we have the what. So what you're going to do is fill out this side first, and then you can write a summary. What were Jinx and Ronaldo trying to do? Well, they were trying to raise money for a calculator. So we're going to put here, they were trying to raise money for a calculator. Now, again, you can stop this video at any time and you can fill in the correct answers. But we have Jinx and Ronaldo. What were they trying to do? They were trying to raise money for a calculator, because remember, Ronaldo is blind and he needs to get a special calculator that he can be able to use, even if he can't see. Okay, where were Jinx and Ronaldo during the story? What was the setting of the story? The setting of the story was several different places, but so we have Callaway Cards. They went to Callaway Cards to do marketing research to find out what other cards were out there. Was there already step cards? Because if there were, then their business wasn't going to do very well. They had to think of a new idea. And they were also at the Woodburn School. That's where they made the copies for their advertisements. And that's also where they passed out everything. They also passed out things at the community center. There's not a lot of room on this paper, so you can't maybe list every setting. They also went to their house to make some of the cards. So I would just put Callaway Cards, Woodburn School, the mall, places like that, okay? All right. When were they doing all of this? Well, we know that they were doing it during school time because they were passing out all the advertisements at the school. So we know it wasn't during the summer. So we're just gonna put school time there really wasn't a specific time of day. This is not a historical story, so there's not going to be a time period or anything like that. They were just doing it during school time. Okay, why were they doing all of this? Why were they doing all of this? Okay, kind of the same thing as what they were trying to raise money for a calculator. You can even put, they were making cards. We can put here, they were making cards for a business. So again, this is just kind of reminding you what the story about. They were making step cards for a business. So we have Jinx and Ronaldo. They were trying to raise money for a special calculator. They went to Callaway Cards to do marketing research. They also went to the Woodburn School to make photocopies for the advertisement. This was during school time, probably some before and after school. And they were making cards to start a business. But how were they starting a business? How could two young kids start a business? Well, they got advice from their mom and from their principal, and they put their money together. They made an investment and they did marketing research. So you want to write that on here. They put an investment together and did research. Now you're going to run out of room because there's not a lot of room on this page. So notice me, like you're probably going to have a pencil. I was trying to use a Sharpie so it would show up better, but you're going to have a pencil and you might write smaller, but you're probably still going to run out of room. Okay, so now let's review. We have Jinx and Ronaldo. They're trying to raise money for a calculator. They went to Callaway Cards and they went to Woodburn School. This was during the school time. They were making cards to start a business. They put their investment together and they did marketing research before they started their business. Okay, now we're going to do a summary. With all this information over here, we can do a quick summary. We can put it all together to tell what this book was about. So whenever you're doing a summary, you always say, who wanted but so finally. So the who is, we already have here, Jinx and Ronaldo. So you're going to write that. Jinx and Ronaldo wanted, what did they want? They wanted to raise money to buy a calculator. So we're just going to put they wanted to buy a calculator. But the problem was they didn't have any money, right? So, but they needed money. So they put their investment together. So let me show you what I have so far, so I'm not going too fast. So over here on the summary side, you take all this information and now put it over here. Jinx and Ronaldo wanted to buy a calculator, but they needed money. So they put their investment together, and finally what happened? You guys, what finally happened in the story? They finally were selling so many cards because everybody wanted to buy their step cards for Valentine's Day or for birthdays or special events for their step grandchildren, and people were buying it so much that they had a lot of orders and they were able to raise the money and pay back their initial investment. So we're going to put, so they put their investment together and finally they started making money. Now mine is not as neat as yours is going to be, because again, you're going to use a pencil. But let me show you one more time what goes on both sides of this paper. First of all, this is for the story Business is Looking Up. It's a summarizing chart. On the live this week, we're going to do the cause and effect and sequence chain. So on the live, we'll do those two papers. You then have a vocabulary quiz to study your vocabulary words and a reading test. On the video, the other reading video, I do questions all about the reading test to help you review for the reading test. But this is the summarizing chart. So we have who is Jinx and Ronaldo. What did they want to do? They were trying to raise money to buy a calculator. Where did they go in the story? They went to Callaway Cards and Woodburn School. When did they go? During school time. Why? Because they were making cards to start a business. And how did they start their business? They put their investment together and did research. Now, if we take all of that information and we put it together, we can now make a really cool summary. So the second half is just the summary of the story. So let me show you what that looks like, okay? Jinx and Ronaldo wanted to buy a calculator, but they needed money. So they put their investment together, and finally they started making enough money to get their calculator. So again, that's what goes on this side, this summary side. I'm not sure how good you can see that, okay? So one side is all the information on the story and the other side is the summary, right? In order to do the reading activities, all you have to do is to tune into the lives. On Monday's live, on 9 o'clock, we're going to do math, but then at 12:30, we're going to do reading. And we will do the other two reading activities. All you have to do is the summarizing chart on your own. And then if you read the story one more time, you can do really good on the vocabulary test and the reading test, which, by the way, you guys are doing great. Continue to keep up your reading. Please keep up your reading. If you go on Accelerated Reader, you can actually take a test on the story to see if you're having good reading comprehension. But it's so important during this time to continue reading every night. Read for fun. Get your mom and dad together, your family together, and read a book for fun. Just sit around and read. I love doing that. Okay, you guys, have a great day.